Hey guys, this is Tauna, and today we're going to be talking about a huge change coming to Play Booster boxes that, I don't know, I think people are going to be a little bit up in arms in it. Personally, part of it doesn't affect me, and then part of it's going to make me potentially not want to buy Play Booster boxes, so I don't know, let me know what you guys think. So, first of all, Play Boosters started at the start of the year with Murders at Karlov Manor. They switched over to these Play Boosters that were meant to take the fun of set boosters, so you could have those extra rares and stuff, but then they're also meant to be draftable, so that way, they could get rid of the draft boosters and be usable there. That was the whole point, was that they were meant to be draftable as well as being, capturing that kind of fun of opening a set booster. Now, whether they achieve that or not, I'm not going to get into that. Some people absolutely hate them, feel that they did not capture that fun. Some people, are okay with them and don't mind them. But, they also kind of went more expensive too. So they just kind of keep that in mind as we're talking about that. So some big news has slipped into the distributors information that hasn't been officially announced yet, which is the fact that... Tell me what you guys think is different here. What are you noticing that is different? First of all, we got the release date and everything. The RRP is the exact same. But is this part up here, the 30 count? There's 36 30 packs instead of 36. I don't know how to switch that around. So they are switching to 30 packs instead of 36 in the Play Booster boxes as of Aetherdrift. So that is like, when you get a... like one of these boxes, this one here is Ikoria, essentially kind of like similar like that. When you get a whole box display, it's going to be 30 packs instead of 36. The price per pack is staying the same, so the boxes should technically be cheaper for you to be able to get. We'll see as to how that affects things. I'll talk about a little bit about that in a minute. But what Wizards had to say, so obviously, people noticed this, and then Wizards kind of picked up on it. I wasn't sure about doing a video on this. I decided to, though, which is why it's a little bit later than they actually announced it. Essentially, this change in the number of play boosters per display, what most people call a box, is happening starting with the Aetherdrift, but will be true for other set releases going forward. After the release of play boosters, basically, they got the feedback from WPN stores and players in our surveys and other places. The most consistent pieces of feedback from the stores was that they preferred 30 count displays to 36 count displays. Now, I don't run a store or anything like that, so I can't say as to why they are suggesting that. I can make some suggestions, but I don't run a store. So if you do run a store, let me know if you were someone who said about 30 cost in 30 count instead of 36 count. Maybe, I'm completely wrong here. But I'm surprised by that. I thought 36 count would be better. But kind of getting into it, like the feedback, the summary is that the feedback from people was that they preferred 30 to 36, and the MSRP for the boosters will stay the same. MSRP is for the boosters. There is no MSRP for the boxes. They basically said, yeah. So the boxes should technically be cheaper. Now, I can assume that a couple reasons as to why people thought that 30 is better than 36. Less upfront cost if you're buying a box. So if you go buy a box, right, you're paying for all 36 of those boosters. If there's only 30, it should technically be cheaper. And keep in mind that when play boosters came along, they were more expensive than either set booster boxes or draft booster boxes. So, maybe because they're more expensive, people are less likely to buy them. I don't know. Have you guys looked at like a play booster box and be like, that is so much more expensive than I used to spend. I'm not going to do this. Who knows? And maybe it doesn't hurt as much for them to open up a booster for people to buy single boosters or anything, because there's only 30 packs instead of 36. So it's not like, they're not cracking a $300 box or $250 or whatever box when they're cracking a $200 box. I don't know. Like, that's the only thing I can really think of there. Now, these are my thoughts. I don't own an LGS, so that part doesn't affect me. More power to them if this is going to be better for them, though. I hope it is, and I hope that this is a good improvement for them. But realistically, if you are someone who is not, an LGS owner, you should be doing the maths here and realize that it's going to be the same price either way. You're just getting less. You're paying less, but you're also getting less. Realistically, though, I think that those 6 extra packs were potentially better than saving the money, in my opinion, because as well as the fact that this could end up being more expensive once you take into account discounts, right? Like, you know, if it's like, I just think that once things get like discounted and clearance and stuff like that for full boxes, it could end up just being more expensive that way than, say, you know, if Outlaws of Thunder Junction goes on discount as opposed to Aetherdrift. It could not end up being that way. I just think that personally, once you start looking at like discounts and stuff like that, it could end up being more expensive. Or even like, you know, around the same price once you kind of, but then you're also, you know, missing out on 6 packs and stuff. I don't know. I just personally think that 36 was fine. The other thing to keep in mind is that the bigger issue with this is it just kind of screws up draft. Now, I'm 100% aware that draft probably does not make a huge amount of money for LGSs and stuff, and not less people are drafting and everything, but there's going to be even less people drafting this way, I think, because I think they may need to end up upping the price of drafts, because if you look at it now with the 36 packs, that worked fine for like 8 players with 3 packs each and then a prize per win. I think it was like, you know, they had like, you know, perfectly round around to 4, like divided by 4. So that way there's 4 packs each per person roughly. And then that 4th pack is for, you know, the prizes. It's just, you know, going to screw up that. And it also screws up these box brawls. Now I've done one, me and my friends did it with, what was it? What's that? Lord of the Rings. We did a box brawl with that, and it was so much fun. With that, you take a box with the 36 packs, you divide it in 4, and then each person builds a commander deck from those packs. I absolutely loved it. It was really, really fun. And you know, like this not being divided by 4, I think, is the major issue. If it was divided by 4 in any way, I think that would be a lot easier. But now it's like, you know, 30, and then you take that up to 60. So if you open 2 boxes, that's 60. But then even that's not divided by 4. You know, there's not an easy way for it to be able to work in 4s for either draft or for like a box brawl or commander or anything like that. If you've got, you know, the 4 people, or, you know, maybe your friends are splitting it by 4. Obviously, you know, this is fine for 3 or 2. That's fine. But for a set of 4, which tends to be around where Magic kind of sits, especially around commander, it's not going to work. Which, yeah, even like 32 would be better, but I think 36 was like the sweet number where it was sitting fine. So yeah, I don't know how this is going to work. I'm not a huge fan of that because it does kind of screw up both of those things. And I feel like in the long run, this might end up being more expensive for the LGSs because now they can't just take a box and hand it over to the people who are doing draft. Now they need to take a box and then open up another box or have another box already open to take 6 packs from that. And yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm just going bonkers here. Let me know what you guys think. And yeah, again, make sure you subscribe. We're almost at 10,000 subscribers. We're going to hit this by the end of the year, hopefully. Have a great day and goodbye.